It don't even sound funky this morning. It sounds ominous. It sounds like some what you got up your sleeve, Clyde?
Something's brewing.
Man. You know when stuff starts tainting the funk, then we in trouble. What you got up your sleeve, Claude? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You stumbled into First Sky Omaha radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yes, sir. Pop's up bright and early for Women's Wednesday, his favorite day. What's going on, Pop? Women's Wednesday, I'm happy. I'm a happy man. Love to my First Sky fam all the way from Las Vegas. Appreciate you getting up so early. Lots going on in the city, y'all. Some smoke in the city.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Man. Good morning, Lucia Rodriguez. Buenos dias. Thanks for getting up this morning. Appreciate you over there on YouTube. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning as well from Facebook. Like that. We know both of the channels are working this morning. Appreciate you. There it is. Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. A fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners. It's going to be a good day. I see Kimara Snipes giving us a good morning up early. Hey. Good morning to you. Appreciate you. Glad you're going to be on today. We got lots to talk about for real.
Indeed.
Yeah. So here we are on Women's Wednesday. And of course, you know, we had special guest Kimara Snipes coming in. What's good in the hood? Put some respect on her name. Also got Precious McKesson coming on through for Politicin with P. Put some respect on her name as well. Thank you. Appreciate you. Christy Nor gives us a good morning. Good morning to you too. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. I'm just going to take a little breath. There's a lot going on. So we do a lot of prep before the show, and we went right up to the minute. Like, I'm real excited. So I'm just calm down.
Yeah. Smell the coffee beans. Come on in, grab a seat. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the road.
Yes. How are you doing? How you doing today, buddy?
A little tired, boss. A little tired. Had a late night last night. I had a shoot for a podcast, and yeah, it went all right. It went all right, man. Met the one and only Emmanuel Lewis yesterday.
What? Not Webster.
Webster himself, man. But don't call him Webster. Just call him Emmanuel. No.
Mr. Lewis. It's Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Lewis from Brooklyn, and he will let you know that he's from Brooklyn all the way through, man. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to meet him and hear him speak. And I mean, you know, getting stories of chilling with Michael Jackson. He told the first time he met Janet, happened to be at Michael's house in the kitchen, just chilling. Just a bunch of legendary stories, man. And man, like, you know, it's just one of those vibes. Like, you ever just listen to an elder or just an OG tell stories, and they're just like, man.
Yeah. I got a little taste of that last night.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into
not
that.
Quite the same.
Yeah. I'm talking about my Webster story. I don't know nobody care about that.
That's Mr. Lewis to you.
Yeah, Mr. Lewis. But yeah, that was exciting. Very, very interesting and powerful conversation, man. You know, puts things in perspective. You hear around all these stars and chasing, you know, whatever you want to chase, but at the end of the day, it's all about the people.
Yeah. And you know, anybody that's still alive from back in the day, which is a thing to say these days, they're gonna have some stories, man. If they made it through all the hardships, it's probably a really interesting thing to hear from them. So looking forward to that. That's gonna be on the We Outside show.
Yes. And still working on bringing that content to y'all, man. So that is something, you know, y'all interested in.
Yeah.
help with
And
that.
we'll put a link to it in the Friends for Sky Omaha when the episode drops for sure. Check it out. And we'll be doing that more and more. It's going to be a lot going on. So I'm kind of looking forward to the expansion of what's happening, especially out in Atlanta. You know, we were
Man,
out there for a minute, man. We were trying to make some connections and make some parallels and make a Omaha to Atlanta kind of conduit. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff is happening. So when things are going down in Atlanta, which they are really heavy now.
yeah. We'll be talking about that on today's show as well. Has some clips and some things. I've kind of been paying attention to it. I'm not really interested in getting too much into it. You know, there's some protests that went down, just to be honest. And yeah, I'll kind of share my thoughts on that. But very, very interesting situation what's going on down here, and some things to look out for, you know.
And of course, anytime things happen down south, it seems like Nebraska is really looking closely and trying to follow suit.
Man,
Which
Texas,
is what I
Florida.
think about, man. If they're gonna militarize the police in Atlanta, then it's getting ready to get real militarized here. You know what I'm saying? So those types of things we'll definitely be talking about. Ariel's 402 in the house. What's going on? Mayor Sanchez over there on YouTube. He says, "Bring the noise, avoid the noise." I ain't heard that one in a minute.
I like that.
Kimara Snipes says, "That's what's up. Congratulations, buddy. Having a talk with Mr. Lewis." Mama Guys gives us a good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning to you. Appreciate you very much. Mark Manor says, "Good morning. How's the weather out there, bro? You walking? Is it too cold again today? Because I heard it was supposed to be pretty low today and getting snowy again." Kava Watson. Good morning,
Hey,
fam. Okay.
family friend. Hey, Kava. Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for joining us over here on Facebook. Appreciate that. And all the ghost listeners as well. Lots to talk about today for sure. We're definitely going to jump right in and get to some of the topics. I'll just start putting a few things out there. Anybody hear anything about what went down with the Bryant Center? I'd like to know. I put a call out to Brother Sherman Wells, and so we'll see if he feels like talking about that. So that's some of the things that's going on here, man. And of course, we need a lot more conversation about ARPA funds and things like that. It's kind of like kind of going crazy out here right now over that. That's what happens when money, there's some influx of money into an area. There's a lot of back and forth. So we'll see if we can help communicate some of this and decipher some of this. Mark Manor says, "Nice today, walking to Olson's Donuts." Okay, man.
Okay.
Don't let that cold weather stop you from getting them donuts. I heard that. Stephen Abraham says, "We made it through another rotation. Rise to do good for self and others." I like that.
There you go.
Always remembering those things, man. We got to remember. Thankful for every day we wake up. You know,
Man, it's all about the people.
Wanda Lewis says Sherman Wells. Right. Yep. I just sent a message to him this morning, see if he wants to talk about some things. Kimara Snipes says, "I talked to Senator McKinney last night. Some of this behavior is ridiculous. We'll definitely get into it. You're quite sure that was what we're going to talk about when you come on the show."
We just try to hold back, man.
Yeah, man. We'll see. What's good in the hood? There's some bad going on. Ariel's 402 says 2 new subscribers since Monday. Thank you very much. Up to 172.
Okay.
If you're on YouTube, we're trying to reach that goal of 200, and we're really going to do some a little bit of celebrating when we hit that 200 number. We got to start doing better than that. We put our head down and grind and forget about milestones.
Man.
And our financial advisor, Julian Young and Associates, is reminding us, mark the milestones, man. Celebrate the milestones. You got to. You guys helped us get there. So, we're celebrating you, really. So that's what this is about. Josh Tay gives us a good morning, friends. Good morning, my brother. Appreciate you. Sherman Wells is on. He says, "Good morning, fellas. We just said your name. Appreciate you coming on through, man." And I sent a message out to you this a little earlier saying, if you wanted to come on and speak, let's set something up, man. If you want to come on the show, maybe we can do it Friday, or you got some things you want to talk about today. That's cool too. But we definitely want to know what's going on. I saw some really good things happen over the last summer over there at the Bryant Center. So I was very surprised when I got wind that there was some issues there. Of course, Brother Kasim got on and made some statements about what BAA is going to do. And I still don't have the whole story. So I'd like to hear it if you guys don't mind talking about it. And of course, we got you guys' back on everything. Anybody who's trying to do anything for the community is all right with us. So, if anybody's blocking that, it don't sound like that's a good. It don't sound like a good thing at all to me. So we'll see. Mama God said, "Where are we at now? On what? Which thing? Which thing are you referring to?
A lot going on. A lot going on.
Christy Norris says, and some of these same folks fussing about Senator McKinney are the ones who don't vote.
Oh, dang, shots already
coming in hot.
Right. Starting the show strong.
Brother Abraham in the house says, Crafty Council is strong in the city. Sherman Wells says, for sure, let me know when and I'll come in, yo. Let's set it up for Friday officially, bro. We'll get you, we'll hit you up on Facebook and get you a code and all that and get you on so we can talk about some things. Lots of stuff in the news, but man, what we're here for is the hot news in our neighborhood. So that's gonna be the majority of what we got to talk about. That's what we're here for. So, but there's a few other things going on in the world, buddy. You want to run down a couple of things we wanted to talk about today?
Yeah. Other than what's happening in our own backyard, looking at what's going on also around the city and around the country, man. I've kind of mentioned it earlier as far as the protest that's happening in Atlanta right now. That's something that we should definitely keep a close eye on, especially with our own conversations that we've had about what's going on with our police. Again, there's some federal investigations. There's some kind of infighting, if you will. Of course, we talked about Omaha's police relationship with with Tactical 88 and the whole training center out west. And now we're seeing some more militarization of police happening in Atlanta with a training facility that's being, because it's causing a lot of controversy. So we'll get into it. They're calling it Cop City here in Atlanta. So again, continuing our kind of Atlanta Omaha connection, talking about what's going on down here, some of the protests and unrest that's happening. Also, speaking of unrest, housing is still an issue that many people are facing, even myself looking for housing right now. I'm feeling it, and it's still a real issue, not just in Nebraska, not just here in Atlanta, but across the country. And housing needs still need an assessment. And there are a few incoming bills in Nebraska's legislature that will possibly address this issue. So we'll talk about that, especially as our legislators are gearing up for session. Of course, we still have the brothers senators, Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, coming in on Friday. So looking forward to their report to see what's going on in the legislature. But there's still some more, civic engagement, some civic learning that we all have to do to really understand what's going on. So definitely looking forward to that conversation and that article. Also, speaking of civic engagement and ARPA funds, Culxr House set to receive $2.7 million. Big shout out to my man Marcy Yates. I've kind of been watching him grow this thing from the ground up, and I'm just proud of the brother, man. Just proud of him, and we should celebrate each other more often. So big shout out to Marcy Yates and the Culxr House, kind of talking about a little bit of the things that they're going to do. And again, this isn't a foregone conclusion. They haven't received anything. Remember, these are all suggestions, but let's hope that this does go through because, again, the Culxr House is definitely doing good in the hood. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. Of course, Medicaid is still an issue. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Again, as our beloved Miss Erica Felt always says, get your titties checked, man. Definitely check yourself. Health is wealth.
Man.
Yeah, actually, I just lost a male family member to breast cancer. So, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Definitely check yourselves and, look into your health. Make sure you have everything you need to stay healthy. So we'll talk about that and more throughout the show. Of course, we're here for the next 2 hours. As always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. As I always say, conversation rules the nation. But without further ado, we're going to get this show on the road. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, let's go.
Let's do it. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, Everybody that's first time and last time listeners, like Buddy likes to say, appreciate you. Ariel's 402 says, please hit the like button on your way in or out. That's right. Just want to remind everybody we are on YouTube as well. If you're on Facebook, there's another place that we are at, which is YouTube. We're trying to get subscribers. Mama God, we're at 172 right now subscribers, and trying to reach that 200 mark so we can do a little celebration. Leia Keister gives us a good morning over here on YouTube as well. Thank you very much for joining us. And as we discussed, we got lots to talk about today. And of course, we have special guests on this Women's Wednesday. Precious McKesson will be politicking with P pretty soon and talking to her about some things. Also, put some respect on her name. Also, Kimara Snipes, what's good in the hood, put some respect on her name as well. And we might even have another guest. I didn't get a confirmation from Brianna Full, but we did reach out and talk about her coming on today. So that may also happen. We will see what's going on. But there's a lot to talk about. Of course, we also want to talk a little bit about with the ladies, Precious and Kimara, about the action that got taken over there at the towers as well. They were part of that Get Your S Done committee, that get your stuff done, get your stuff together committee, that volunteers that had something to do with going over there to the towers and talking to folks. So definitely want to hear about some of those things as well. But yeah, lots to talk about. Definitely hot topics going on in our neighborhoods right now. We're going to try to touch on them, decipher them, be as careful as we can, try to be as communicative and explain what we can do. And I'm just lucky that we have a platform here where we can have like the brothers senators on, and also Precious and Kimara on. We can have people on that can speak to these issues, and help us get some more clarity, which is what we're all here for. So appreciate that. Mark Manor says, excited to get pizza at Culxr House on the bike ride home from work on the way if they have breakfast pizza. Yeah, we let's put in that request now. We need breakfast pizza too.
Okay.
We got Kethro in the house. What's going on, bro? Appreciate you listening in on your channel over there. Peace. Also, Christy North says Culxr House has pizza. They're going for it. They're trying to incorporate that. That's one of their plans, is to expand that in business, but also have artist residents and a few other things. So we'll definitely have Marcy on as well to talk about his plan. It'd be nice to hear from him about what his overall plan is.
Yeah,
because obviously it was a solid plan, solid enough to get a good recommendation for some millions. And I'm here for it. That's our partner, so we're all the way for that. Speaking of which, I also stopped and got me some Idle Vital juice yesterday.
Man,
she also got evaluated for $1 million or so to be able to expand. So I asked her, where you going to expand to? How about Benson? She was like,
yeah, so I can go around the corner.
So I can walk to the spot, because man, her juice is life, man. I got at least every other day I got to go get some.
Literally, like Idle Vital. Literally,
man, it's Idle Vital for real. So she said that she's looking at expanding still on the block on 24th Street corridor, but having a bigger, better shop and stuff like that. So I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about. She ain't gonna go too fast and expand too broadly. She does it right. She's a great businesswoman, and love her products and love what she does. And she's been expanding in stores. You can get her juices in certain stores now and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So.
And it's not just Imani, it's her mother, it's her sister. It's a true family business that's reaching success. And yeah, it's just not just her. It's a family endeavor. It's her mom, her sister, her brother. Shout out to my man Marcus Murray. He did the art on the side of the building. Like, it really is a very, very strong family. And they're showing how it's done. They're showing how it's done. So yeah, I'm all here for it, man.
Family affair. I love it. Sherman Wells says, we love Imani Murray. She's the truth.
Definitely powerful young lady.
Good morning, Michelle Moreno, and I appreciate you coming on as well over there on Facebook. Like I said, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. And I think there's a way to share the show on YouTube. I'm still not clear on that, but some people say there is.
You can share the link out to various pages.
Do us a favor, share the link out. And if you miss any parts of the show, you can always come back. These shows are saved, so you can go back and on Facebook or YouTube and watch the show in its entirety. And last but not least, for the housekeeping, tell a friend. Please tell a friend. We can get as many voices in here as we can on subjects as well. And don't forget, everybody who's in the chat, we have the best chat in the world as far as I'm concerned, because we have people that actually engage with real information. We don't got a bunch of trolls just hanging out, talking a bunch of junk. and people are using the chat as if they are in this conversation, because that's what this is a conversation. So I love it. I love the respect level. I love the information level, and we can't do the show without you. So we appreciate that. Everybody that's contributed. If you haven't, if you're a ghost listener and you feel compelled, come on, jump in. We want to hear from you too, for sure. So, meantime, between time, 7:20 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Buddy, what's on the agenda first?
Man, well, of course, we'll get a full, kind of inside view of what's going on in our state legislature on Friday, not tomorrow, but Friday, when we speak to the senators. But there are a few bills that we want to look out for and just keep front of mind, and also remember that it's not just up to the senators to duke it out in the state capitol, but it is upon us also to not just vote them in, but to help them out when they get in to push the bills that we want to see push. So again, make sure that we're staying aware of the bills. We're doing our own research, sending emails, doing what we can to push, not just voting, but also doing what we can, and staying civically engaged throughout the year. But definitely one bill that we all should be supporting, especially here on this show, of course, is a bill aiming to give Ernest Jackson a new trial. Again, man, it is now January 25th, 2023, and Ernest Jackson is still not free. If you don't know, again, brother Ernest Jackson has been serving I forget the brother's name, the lawyer that we spoke to, but he says that this is a crime. He's serving time for a crime that wasn't committed, was the way that he put it.
Dave Pontos.
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't Dave Pontos. It was the other family attorney. I forget his name. Yeah, he's the attorney that's actually working on Ernest Jackson's case. I believe pro bono. But yeah, basically, again, Ernest Jackson has been serving now close to 20 years in prison for a crime that he was supposed to be accomplice to, but the men who actually did it were set free. So again, it's a crime that didn't happen. I can't better explain it. I feel like I'm doing a bad job, but I can't better explain.
He didn't do it. That's all we can say right there.
There was no crime. That's the thing. It's not even that he didn't do it. No one did it. There was no crime, and yet he's still serving time. And now there's a bill to try to fix all of this. LB 18 was filed by State Senator Justin Wayne. Put some respect on his name. This is actually the third time that Senator Wayne has attempted to pass such legislation since 2021. So again, LB 18, if passed, permits evidence or testimony withheld by a witness who invoked a testimonial or constitutional privilege during the original trial of a convicted person to be used as the basis to motion of a new trial. In layman's terms, if there is new evidence, if there's anything that can prove that this person is free or innocent, then that should be used for a new trial, which again, there has been several instances and several pieces of evidence that has come out in this Ernest Jackson case, yet they will not retry. So this is something that has been discussed here on the show several times. We have pushed for there are some dates and some opportunities coming up for him to possibly get parole or at least get a parole hearing. But rather than waiting for those days, LB 18 could possibly change that if we get that passed. So, and definitely, please educate yourselves more on the Ernest Jackson case. There is a website you can go to, sendernesthome.com, if you'd like to volunteer or get more information. Again, that's sendernesthome.com. If you'd like to get more information, you can also follow Send Ernest Home on Facebook as well.
Yep. I just want to take the opportunity too to remind everybody about what the brother senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names, said about how we can help when they're trying to pass these bills. We got to show up more. We got to show up more down there at the legislature. They are all often battling a whole room full of people who are not on the same page with what it is they're trying to push. And from what I understand, if we're there, we can be there. If we can go up and speak in support and just be in the room, that really helps. There's also ways that you can send emails and letters and stuff like that to the legislature as well in support. So that we need to think of that and do that more this time around. Now that we know this, now that we have this information that those things help, let's do it. So get a little caravan together, go down to Lincoln from time to time, whatever needs to happen to make that happen. But like Buddy's saying, it's not just up to them to fight. It's up for us to be civically minded, understand what's going on, and be in support. Yeah. Stephen Abraham on Facebook says, what would happen if the towers turned into half tax credit, half public housing properties like Ernie Chambers Court apartments?
It's a
Very
good
good
question.
question.
It's a good question.
Yeah. We got to talk about some of that. Kimara Snipes on YouTube says, I'll be going back down to Lincoln on Friday, and if things go right, I'll be able to take some people with me. Okay, so that's the next session is going down Friday.
Okay.
Okay, I have to remember that. I got to try to move some things around so I can try to make some of these things myself. So I appreciate that, Ms. Snipes. I will definitely continue to talk to people about that and put the word out and work on getting the group down.
Yeah, for people who are interested in going with you on Friday, does the civic engagement table have any resources or anywhere they can go to kind of educate themselves on bills, educate themselves on what's coming up in the session, what they're going to be addressing down there on Friday? If civic engagement table has any resources like that, feel free to drop that in the chat.
I'm also thinking about maybe teaming up with Brother Preston Love Jr. Put some respect on his name because he's got the bus now and he does some things for voting and stuff like that. Maybe we can arrange with him, raise some funds, and have his company drive some folks down, make a day of it or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. Kimara Snipes says, I'm going to provide testimony on racial impact statements. Okay. So, yeah.
Is this in regards to Senator McKinney's bill? I think again, one of the bills that Senator McKinney is pushing is for each bill to come with a racial impact statement, so that it could be on the document, it could be documented, it could be in the books, that at least the senators, regardless of where you're from, are taking some kind of consideration, some kind of forethought, on the racial impact of these bills that they're passing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
Some more information here. Amy Helpless gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Appreciate you. Also, everybody's on YouTube talking here. So, Marianne Williams in the house. Good morning. She says the hearings are at 1:30 p.m. Kimmer says I will talk about it some more once I come on, but we do have resources for members and partners. That's cool. Marianne Williams says yes, it's McKinney's. Kimmer Snipes says the hearing I'm going for his at noon.
Okay.
So yeah, so we'll figure that out. Marianne Williams also says, and Blood and Acadia Ability Impact Statements bill at the same time. Okay, so cool. We got information on bills. We got information on people that are going to go down. Friday's the day, just like that. See what I'm saying? Like just like that. Chat chimers are letting us know what's going on. We appreciate that.
Disability impact statement.
Oh, disability. Okay, I was like, what's Acadia? Okay. Disability impact statement. Cool. So yeah, we'll keep on talking about this. I'm sure she says I'm using the voice text while I'm walking. Boy, you get ready to get on the show. Just come on through. It's gonna be the same thing with Senator McKinney. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll talk more about it when you get on. But thanks for the information. It's good to know. Just like that, we know now the sessions are on Friday. There might be some rides. And some of the bills that we will probably agree to back and be behind and show support of, there it is right there. So I appreciate everybody that just chimed in on that. And we'll keep on trying to get to it ourselves, and we'll also keep on trying to encourage it with everybody else and arrange things. So try to in the spirit of the action.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the documenters program, which we'll definitely be using more. But that's just to have people there to document what's going on. We need bodies in there to actually speak up and be present, not just to document what's going on, but to actually be a part of it and to speak up and support. That's really what our senators need. Not what's been going on, but they need support. that part. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little later on. But moving forward, speaking of support, there are a few other bills that we should be aware of and looking out for. Mostly in particular, the bills dealing with housing, definitely a big issue that we've been looking at and talking about now, for the entirety for Sky Omaha, looking at what's going on in the community and really around the nation, and how we can address and fix this. And hopefully this will be a step in the right direction, talking about LB 249, which was introduced by Senator Beeee, that is to amend the Rural Workforce Housing Investment Act. This bill would increase the limit in workforce housing grants funding for a nonprofit development organization, allowing them to apply for from $1 million to $5 million over a 2-year period. Senator Vargas says there are at least 3 other bills which influence the report that have yet to be introduced, which will focus on removing regulations that slow housing development and also help distribute more funding for housing at a faster pace. Senator Vargas also says that he does not have specific goals in mind for each legislative session, but says we're trying to make as much of a dent as we possibly can. Several other housing bills that have been introduced to look out for: LB 424, which was introduced by Senator Wendy DeBoer of Bennington, would establish the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Obviously, some things that needs to be established and changed and possibly looked at. DeBoer said LB 424 has been in the works since actually last year, so there is a draft. However, she would said the report would likely play a role in the bill's progress through the legislative session. And that's in reference to a 2022 report that refers to issues for both renters and owners and cities, multiple contributors behind Nebraska's housing needs, which includes rising cost of housing and loans and a lack of available land and diverse housing options. Of course, we talk about the missing middle, which again is a reference to the missing diversity in housing. I mean, really all we've seen is apartments. That's really about it. That's all we've seen popping up in the community are apartments with the, retail spaces at the bottom. Living mixed use apartments is what they're calling them, but there's no real single family houses anymore, no real duplexes, which kind of creates a lack of options.
And furthermore, even if it was all just apartments, they're not affordable, which is the worst part of all. So yeah, so other bills to look out for sure. Did you want to continue on here? We do have a special guest waiting in the wings.
I'll just wrap up
with the comments.
Yeah, I just wrap up with this in regards to the lack of not just housing but affordable units, as you just mentioned. Along with these bills and this report that I just mentioned, the goal of that is 35,000 affordable housing units. Again, we can debate and talk about what actually that is, but again, their goal is 35,000 units that people should be able to afford. The report also sets a goal of reducing the percentage of housing burden homes in the state from 44% to 33%, which would be about 44,000 homes. Again, these are housing burdened homes. I'm not sure exactly what that is, to be honest.
But yeah, that's interesting. It sounds like a whole lot of construction for a whole lot of homes.
35,000.
Wonder who's going to do the construction. Number one, I wonder after the construction done, who going to afford the homes that are going to be constructed.
That part.
And it sounds like that's several neighborhood changes right there with that many units, several neighborhood shifts. Just top of my head, what do you have to say about that? And think about it a little bit. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break, come back with our special guest, Precious McKesson. Put some respect on her name. We'll be politicking with P up next. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, chat chimers, ghost listeners. Be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers. You guys awake? Are you guys up? We got a good morning from Gwen Easter. Good morning to you. Also, she says there are so many families that can't afford the new housing. Some of the landlords want families to have a deposit twice the rent to rent their properties. Lots to talk about this, and I always love to get our next guest's viewpoints on all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, Precious McKesson in the house.
Hey,
Put some respect on her name. We're Politicin with P. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all doing this morning?
all right,
Ooh,
hanging in there, right? Right. What Paul said. I like your glasses though.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
very
you.
nice.
I'm sitting there trying to find
Lots
a
going.
bit here. Like,
Yeah, how
You
you
said
doing
what?
this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just, just looking at, all these different bills that have been introduced in the legislature. And, we have a good tracker. I think all the total of, I just looked, total of 843 bills
Wow.
introduced in the legislature. And so, just look at how where we will all come in at, or where we'll be doing the next couple of months during these hearings, because hearings have already started to kick off. And so just trying to really track these big bills. And yeah, it's really a lot, y'all.
So let
It's
me
really,
ask this.
Wait, before we get going, try shutting a few windows there on your computer. You got you come in a little bit choppy there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Good morning to you. Also, I'm gonna just jump in real quick. That woman on YouTube says, "Good morning." Looking at the comments, I really wish I woke up earlier. I have to catch the replay. Yeah, come on through. It's getting ready to get hot though. We got.
Yeah, we just warming up. Shout out to Ty Williams though, also in the chat. Says good
Oh
morning.
yeah, good morning. Yep, yep. All right, how you doing over there,
okay, is it
Precious?
better?
We'll see. We'll see. Go ahead and tell. Oh, what was your question, buddy? For her.
Yeah, so I was just wondering how the bills work, and from what is the relationship between the senators and the party itself, and how bills are drafted. Does the Democratic Party kind of send down an agenda, and lawmakers kind of write bills in that way, or is it the vice versa? Kind of senators come up with bills that they want to write, and you as a party support it. How does that relationship work?
Well, we definitely don't have a say in how they write their bills. Since we are a unicameral and it is a nonpartisan, we try to remain out of the senators' work, because they are elected by the people. And again, a unicameral, again, they're considered nonpartisan, so we don't have a say in their bills. Now, what we do come in at as a party is when it has certain bills that are pertaining to the electorate. So if there's any bills that are like our voting rights and all those different, when the party will come in. But we always respect the senators and ask them how they want us to support them. How do they want us to promote their priority bills? We'll list their priority bills on our website so that people have access to them who are supporters of the Democratic Party. But we normally kind of just play the role of basically disseminating the information to the voters. But we normally take the lead, take our cues from the senators on how active we are. So you may not see the party as active as you want to see the party, but we will come in, especially when there's issues that are issues that pertain to our platform. You will see us come in and testify, or make sure we have leadership testify. But normally we just kind of follow the lead of the senators.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that kind of goes right into the conversation we've been having, the question we asked on Friday, and kind of we were having today with Sister Kimara saying that she's going to send some people and she's going to go down on Friday. How can, from the Democratic Party perspective, how can the voters support our senators, beyond just voting and getting them in office? Like now, when there's bills coming out, how can we support them? And now that you've had, since last week, more time to look at the bills, what bills are jumping out to you that we should be focused on?
I mean, so the ones that I'm focused on will be the bills that are pertaining to the elections. So any bills that are opposing the election, and then any bills that are supporting election. Like for instance, Senator Day has a bill. Senator Kavanaugh has a bill. I can't name them all off the top of my head, but we have, and Senator Vargas has some bills. So we will make sure that we support those bills that are definitely in support of elections, and then we will go in opposition of the ones who are trying to remove voting rights, which we always know voting rights is a form of when they start to do these different bills, it is a form of voter suppression. So we'll continue to fight against those. I say now, people, the one thing, if you're on Facebook and there's something that you really want to see and you really want to get more, I say follow the Nebraska legislative study group. And the reason why I say follow that group, because that group gives a lot of informative information and they make sure that you are in the know. Also making sure that you contact your senators. If you're not in support of something, contact them. But if you're in support of something, still contact them. Don't only contact them when you're opposing a bill, but you definitely want them to know that they have their support, because when they're on the floor, they can tell people, no, this many of my constituents have called me to tell me that I support this bill, or that they or that they oppose or something, so just make sure that you're communicating with those senators, support or non-support, depending on what the bill is. But definitely, if you really want to get involved, I definitely recommend, if you're starting out in this Nebraska legislative study, because they are very, very informative, and they actually stream hearings on some of the top critical bills, and they stream the legislature when it's in session.
What's that website called again?
It's on Facebook. It's the Nebraska Legislative Study Group.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know about the group.
I think you guys have shared it on there with Angie Phillips.
Right.
Yeah, shared it on First Sky. So definitely tap into that, because they have good conversation going on during it. I will start posting more on my Politicin with P page, kind of like, information when the hearings. Senator McKinney, I also say follow your senators, follow the senators, that you want to follow. And then I gave y'all the tool last week about the bills, where you can see when they get the hearings scheduled and stuff. And then just expect, if you're going down to testify, it starts at a certain time, but just remember that when there's certain bills that are very much so like a hot bill, you're going to be there for a minute. So just make sure that you are prepared to be there. And then how it goes, normally it's like people try to sit in the front row who want to go first to do their support, because that's how it goes. First, it'll go who's in support of a bill. So you'll hear everybody who's in support of it. Then you'll hear everybody who's opposed of it. And then you'll hear anybody who's in a neutral status. So please expect that it is going to be a lot. It is time consuming. It's going to be a lot of time. It's not something that's rushed. But just make sure, like, if you're truly, truly invested in this bill, go down, testify. That's the only way, honestly, that we can make sure that bills are being passed and bills are being kept from getting out of committee. Because if you don't understand, once they're in the committee, that committee then votes to take it to the full body of the legislature. So when there's bad bills, we want to speak so hard that they don't vote it out of committee. But sometimes it does come out of committee and then it goes to full body, and that's when you'll start to see the debate on the floor. But just make sure you know that it is going to be time consuming. So don't expect to be down there and say, oh, I'm going to be down here for an hour. Depending on what that topic is, you have to be there.
Make a day of it.
Yeah, make a day of it. And like, for instance, on the first, there, and I say this because I just saw Christy's comment pop up. So the first, there's two bills that I think that right now that I know, the ban on abortion bill is going to be up, as well as one of the voting rights bill, the election bills, voting bills. Those bills are on the same exact day. So the hearings start at 1:30. You don't have to be there exactly at 1:30, but it's best to be in the room just in case they have you sign in. Some may have you sign in depending on how many bills it is. You do sign in. I'm sorry. You do sign in on a sign-in sheet, and normally it's in support or opposition. So there's times where people will be running back and forth from different rooms. I will say this: the bill that you want to speak on, that is most like very much so, should say like really dear to you, or really like you really, really want to speak on, be in that room. Find a buddy who's in that room. So if y'all texting each other and say, hey, well, you go to this one, I go to this one. When it's time for support, hey, I'm gonna start here. If it's opposition, and say, hey, oppositions are about to start, then you can run to that room. They're not that far from each other. I think the only one, if I'm not mistaken, it may be open now. I know that at one time Judiciary used to meet in the other chamber, but that was during while they was doing the the HVAC system. So now most likely it's downstairs in the Ernie Chambers Judiciary room. So just know, just be prepared. You know, you have to be prepared. And then you can also submit your comment to the Nebraska. It's also on the website, so you can go to that actual bill, and if you want to submit comment, you can. Just make sure just do every necessary tool to make sure that you're exercising your voice to be heard.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Just jump in the chat real quick. Marianne Williams says there will be several bills heard starting at the 30. It's hard to guess what time a particular bill will be heard. Okay, and that was also you just responded to Christy Norris' question. Precious, can we testify and show up after 1:30, or do we have to be there by 1:30? So appreciate that. Vicky Young says compelling letter writing is also crucial, especially if you're unable to testify in person.
Yep.
I definitely want to concentrate on us trying to go in person. And that seems to make a big difference. But yes, if you can't go, then of course letter writing. Kimara Snipes is already in the chat also. She just dropped Nebraska legislature.gov. She says go to introduce legislation, find LB 535, click on submit on comments online. I put all that in there too. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, a lot of information there. She says, Christy says, but both bills matter. They are trying to make it so damn hard, right?
Yes, it's like strategic. It's strategic. But again, like Marianne said, there's so many bills, so that's not the only bill that's being heard in that committee. So you have to be really like, you got to know, like, it's so much. Like you got to. I normally what I would go ask is ask the committee clerk, whoever the committee clerk is. Hey, what number is this bill? What position is this bill going to be for testifying today? Mm-hmm. You know, you can ask them, and it's normally on the schedule, on the wall. If you go to it, it should be on the wall, the list and the schedule of the bill, how they're being heard. Okay. I was always good at making sure that those bills went according to what you saw on the wall when you walked in the room. That's how those bills went in that order. Might be sometimes where a senator has 2 or 3 bills and they're like, oh, well, can I bump this up so I can run back and forth? But they should have a schedule of when those bills are being heard in that the order the bill will be heard that day during the hearing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all I can think of is just for somebody who's not familiar, or for somebody who doesn't know anything about this, a person who just works every day. All this can sound very intimidating, but you know, this is the business that we should all be engaged in. This is the business of running our state, running our country, running our community, and we shouldn't just leave it to state senators. But I'm just thinking, like, how can we normalize this? And you know, you don't have to have an answer. It really just kind of a thought. But you know, how can we more normalize this for the average everyday person? And we have a private chat, but Sister Snipes says that she was there for 8 hours last time.
Yeah.
So you know, again, how do you prepare for that? Again, you don't have to have an answer, just a thought.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you. It's the teaching of it. It's the teaching of it and talking about it. I mean, literally,
this conversation we're having now.
Yeah, like it's like teaching it, because when I literally worked in the legislature, I never saw people. I only saw a few people, honestly. The same people would come and testify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the senators just told us too.
And I just feel like now we have so many different groups that are vested in this, which is really good. And I think, you know, it's just learning it. So it's sometimes, you know, you might feel a little intimidated, but I'm telling you, don't be intimidated. It's as easy as possible. You have good people reach out, inbox me like, hey, Precious, how do I do this? I mean, I have people inbox me all the time. I had somebody inbox me the other day and say, Precious, I hit a pothole and I got $1,000 bill. Who do I need to call? Because this is, you know, as much as we talk about it on Facebook, people still forget, you know. And so just being that source of information and just giving them the information, but just don't be intimidated by it. You know, it's a lot of us who are here to help. And I think we've done a very great job in the last 4 years, I would say, since I started in 2018 doing this. We've done a heck of a job when it comes down to testifying and getting people involved in the legislature. I'm really happy to see the increase of attention in the legislature. I hate that it took these awful bills to do it, but you know, we have some great senators down there who are doing some awesome work. And I'm not gonna say all are great, but we got some senators down there who are doing some great work. And so, you know.
Let me ask you a question. Are you usually down there on those days, or you're not usually down there?
No. So I normally, again, because again, with me being the executive director of the Nebraska Democratic Party, I walk a fine line with bills. Now, again, if it's bills that are pertaining to the electric and the bills and the voting, I'm going to be there. Now, in this case, I won't be there next week on the 1st because I will actually be in Philadelphia for some meetings. And so I won't be there. And it's kind of sad. You know, I'm kind of a little disappointed. I'm like, wow, this would happen on the 1st when I'm not in town. But again, you know, I still have business to take care of, you know, myself and what we do as a party. So I won't be there to testify, but there we are. I have reached out to like the Black Caucus. I mean, like constituency groups, making sure that people are there, but we will have a representative from the party there. It just would not be myself.
Okay.
So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep pushing. This is the second show that we've been talking about people getting bodies up to Lincoln to support what we can do when we're there to support. I'm gonna keep on putting some ideas out there. When we started talking about it today, then the chat chimers brought up, the bills that were going to be happening on Friday. Friday is the day that everybody that it's going down. So I want to keep on trying to encourage that. Kimara Snipes jumped on and said that she is going down and can maybe be able to fit a couple more people. And also my suggestion was we should get with Preston Love and see if we can get with him in his vehicle and fill that up and bring people down and make a day of it. And so
I will be in Lincoln this Friday.
Okay.
The only thing is I can't commit to taking people because I still have a job to do. I have to split between those times. And so I don't want to put somebody in an inconvenient situation because when I leave Lincoln, I normally leave, at my time. So
I'm not necessarily looking for people to ride people down. I think we're all grown. We can get our own selves down there. I just want to, figure out how to encourage on making a day of going down and just supporting, however that happens.
We definitely on those big bills. Like, I mean, there was one time I'm trying to think, when I was actually was I in the legislature still? May have been in the legislature still. I know that Leo and Shamika had got a bus and had people come down in a lobby day. And then remember, they will do the kids do a lobby day. Just I don't know if many people know this, but the kids do a lobby day. The Black and Brown legislative lobby day with Urban League and I think it's Urban League and a few partners. They all came down. I've always participated in that, and the kids come down and actually learn about the legislature. They actually testify too at some of the
I was just thinking that.
Things. Yeah. So and then I know IB Black Girl will be doing some legislation days. I mean the AKAs do the AKAs and the Deltas do a legislative lobby day. I've spoken at those. So we do have groups that come down and actually do days of talking to their senators, listening to the debate on the floor. But again, we just gotta, there should be some type of, I don't know, maybe there should be a fund and say, this is a group. And I think Preston would be the best person. Preston has a bus, maybe this would be the best way to say, hey, how do we get more money funded to be able to take people down here? But I promise you, carpooling, there's the lunchroom is open in the legislature. So there is a lunchroom there. So you can always get food,
I was gonna say we go down early and go to the Black owned vegan joint down there and have some lunch first and then go. We'll make a day of it. For real.
Yeah. There you go.
I want to go ahead and bring in Kimara Snipes. We're a little bit past the time that she was supposed to come in, and she's been waiting patiently in the wings. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's good in the hood with Miss Kimara Snipes?
Hey,
good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm pretty good. Just, down here handling some business.
Now, before we jump into your business, I want to address something that woman said, and we know that's Miss Erica Felt. She called herself that woman on YouTube. I love that. That woman said, I love saying it. She said, I'm being careful to ask without messiness what was done that made someone disagree with Senator McKinney in such a harsh way to prompt the post last night. We're gonna definitely address the post. We're going to address what's going on. And I did get a message from you, Kimara, saying that you had a conversation with him. Now, before I'm gonna try to direct this conversation though, so before we get into those things, we are on the subject right now of trying to get heads down to support these bills and support these senators. Do you, while we're talking about that, do you give us some comments on that before we jump into the next subject?
About getting people to go down and testify?
Yeah, what's your thoughts on
Oh,
it's testifying to show up?
It's vital. I know Precious saw my live last week, or was it the week before? I went down to go testify on racial impact statements. I had already been there for like 6-7 hours when it happened. So I was already kind of stressed out. And Senator Conrad introduced it. Senator McKinney had introduced it previously, right? And then Senator Conrad introduced it as a rule change. And so I went to go testify, and just the experience of sitting there and listening to these senators from Western Nebraska and just their racist thoughts and philosophies, and hearing it being spoken out. It was basically, I think Senator Conrad, I wish I had a recording, and next time I will. She had brought up as an example of why we need racial impact statements. And for people who aren't really sure about like racial impact statements, they're basically designed to like evaluate the current or even future like impact of policies, programs, budget decisions, all of that on like racial disparities, right? And so Senator Conrad used an example, laws regarding prison policy, right? You have crack versus cocaine, right? And you have people who serve way more time than other people. And these senators, and specifically Senator Erdman, who I'm calling out right now, and I can't remember word for word, but it was basically like, well, if Black people commit more crimes than white people, shouldn't they go to jail?
That's what he said?
He said a lot. It would take Senator DeBoer. I saw her this previous weekend at a Women Who Run event, and she reminded me of things that were said that I didn't even remember because, like I said, it was a traumatizing experience, y'all. And I say that to say this. In that room, I was the only Black person in there. The only one. And I really wondered to myself if he would have been that bold and brazen to say the things that he was saying had that room been full of us. And on top of that, I mean, I'm emotional just thinking about it. I had to get up out that room and walk out and cry because I was pissed. I was livid. And here's the thing. Everything he said is the reason why we need racial impact statements, because his thought process feeds in to policy making. And this is what this man thinks. And it's not even a thing of him saying these things to make me upset. It's him saying these things because he really believes this. And so this is what we have to battle. And this is what our senators are down there having to battle. And I know, we got 17 Democratic senators, not really, because we don't really, right? If we just keeping it real. And so they really need our support. And that support comes through by going down there if we're able to be able to provide testimony. And we recognize there's barriers to that. And that's the reason why with our members at the Nebraska Civic Engagement Table, we do have even monetary support for getting able to get people down there to do this.
Oh, really?
So when I get back Thursday, but I'm going down there Friday, getting me a rental car, and I'm going to get people to come down with me as well. Because and like I said, we recognize there's barriers. We're trying to play chess and not checkers and figure out ways to make this happen. But I think it comes down to also starting to have a talk with our pastors and different people like that, because this is serious. This is so serious beyond belief. I don't even know if I can really put it into words, but I'm really, really trying to use this space and other spaces to encourage people to partake in this process, because our senators need our help in person and online.
So just to, thinking about this real quick, what I've been learning is the number of Democratic senators compared to the number of Republican senators. There's way more Republican senators. And so anything that they pass, they have to have Republican support, is what I'm starting to understand about that. They got to have all the Democratic support, and then some Republican support as well to pass certain things. Do I have that right?
You do have that right. There has to be there's legislation is a real thing, and people do have to work together. Absolutely. Okay. They have to work together, and like I say, will and deal and all of that.
Precious, tell what has been the strategy there for the fact that you're going to have to work across the aisle to get things done there?
Repeat that again.
What's been the strategy for the Democratic Party about having to work with these other senators that are in the other party?
Again, keep it together. Keep it together.
Again, the Senate, it's a unicameral. It's not.
What does that mean? You keep saying that. What does that mean?
They're nonpartisan. They do not run based off of their political party. They don't run.
They're not supposed to.
On paper.
At least they're not supposed to.
Right.
They I mean, on paper, technically they're nonpartisan. That's why as a Democratic Party, I can't come in and say, you should not be doing that. We don't insert ourselves in the legislature. Do we have personal conversations and call the senators and talk to senators like, hey, we're like, what's up? Why are you doing that? Yes. But again, it's not my job to tell them what they should do because they ran on a nonpartisan. Now, we followed the lead of them. I'm being very transparent. Senators, how do you want us as the Democratic Party to show up?
Yeah.
I had one senator in particular, and I'm not going to call her out because, again, I am an executive director. It's not my job to call out nobody's senator. And she responded back to me, which I mean, it's on public record. She said, I ran as a nonpartisan, and this is a unicameral, and I will do everything to protect that. So that tells me that she does not want the Democratic Party's input unless they ask us. Now, if it's a bill, again, if it's a bill based on something that is impacting, we do have a platform. And I will say this, we have a platform. The Nebraska Democratic Party has a platform, and we stand by that platform. That platform is very much so in detail. I can, as soon as I'll post it, well, I can't post it in the chat. I'll post it in the private chat, and then you can post it in the chat, Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
But we do have a platform, and we follow that platform. Now, there's going to be senators that don't follow that platform. There's going to be senators who have their own views. And at that time, we have those conversations. And remember, they are elected by the people. So that's so I say that strongly because people say, oh, why are you doing this? Again, we are in a unicameral. We're not like Iowa. Now, Iowa, they got a caucus. The Democrats would have been up in them rooms real quick. We got a problem up in here.
This
hard.
Is why I appreciate being able to talk to y'all every week, and moving forward, being able to talk to the senators, Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney, put some respect on their names, and just really having this show. Like we say it all the time, Paul and I, we're artists, we're musicians. We like to, if we could chill on the beach listening to jazz, we'd be cool. Like we would be set for life.
Have done it.
Yeah. And looking forward to getting back to it. But in the meantime, in between time, we always keep coming back to this news thing and this whole endeavor, and I'm just going off, so please try to stick with me. But this whole endeavor, what we're doing, and I appreciate y'all because it's just every day it becomes more and more evident how much we don't know about what's going on, how this community, this thing we call life, this society runs. Like we don't know how it runs, and we get upset about how things are going, and we have feelings, but we're not in control because we don't know what's going on. And there's like more and more we are learning about the unknown unknowns. Like there's so much that we don't know, we didn't know. Like it's mind boggling. And it just gets to like, how do we get anything done? Like what I keep asking this question. And it's just, what are we doing? Like you can't just go to work, come home, and that's it. Like, what are we doing?
Buddy, wrap it up before Kimara jumps out the screen.
Go ahead.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's
jump out her whole chair.
This feeds into, I think, a little bit what's happening with Senator McKinney. It feeds into the conversation we're having feeds in the conversation about people not knowing how all this is really intimidating. I'm going to go back to how I got started with my interest in this process. I'm always bringing this back to neighborhoods. In the Neighborhood Alliance, it is a communication model as far as I am concerned. Our state senators, we have 2 for South Omaha. Our city council people, we have a couple, only one, and neither one of them showing up right now. I'm calling you out, Vinny and Danny. And so anyway, these people come, right? And they share information about what's happening, and it's up to them to break it down in a way that we can digest it. Too much of this is put on the people. We got to go back to our elected officials. And that's the reason why I'm kind of pissed off about Senator McKinney, because he does his due diligence. I have known this dude since before he even got into politics. Do you see what I'm saying? And for him to put himself on the line, spend time away from his daughter, who we know he loves to pieces, spend time away from his family. He has lost people right? And so it makes me angry, but I also have to remember that people are just unaware of how this works. There was $3.2 billion in request. That man would have to be God himself to make everybody happy. But that's the thing about politics as well. You know, we go into this and we have to understand that we ain't going to please everybody. We're going to piss somebody off. And what I told him last night, I said, you know what, Senator, here's the thing. And if one of y'all is the ones who's talking crazy about him, my bad. But at least now you know who's really supporting you and who's really got your back.
Let's let us set that up, because you're talking like everybody knows what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
Let's go back for a minute. Right. No, a lot of people don't know what's going on. I'm gonna jump into the chat real quick. Also, though, Josh Tate gave us a good definition about the unicameral. It says also unicameral means there is not a separate legislature from the Senate. It's all one body. Marianne Williams says, yes, Josh, all of the states have a state house and a state senate. Nebraska has one body. This is a very special thing that I keep on going back to learning because of how different it is from other states that I've been in as well. Also want to reach out to or say Marianne Williams' comment about how it's be prepared because be prepared for some racism when we go up. Kimara was talking about her experience. She says, that's awful, Kimara. It'll be worse on Friday, she says. Be prepared for some racism, everyone. So what we just heard Kimara go through about people saying crazy stuff and you have to get up and leave. Be prepared to get up and leave. I'm gonna have to tell myself that if I remember sitting there, so I can be prepared to not get up and throw something at somebody. I'm gonna have to say, let me get this in my head to get up and leave. Take some tea. Also jumping in there too. Miss Cheryl Weston's in the house. Good morning. She says over here on YouTube, we know it's supposed to be nonpartisan, but in reality, we know what it really is and how elected senators will vote. I had no idea. I wasn't putting two and two together about the fact that it was supposed to be nonpartisan because it's so partisan. Every time I hear any news about what's going on in there,
exactly,
that's just what it is. Also, the legislature is a numbers game. It's of course important to elect a good representative in your district, but it's so important to work to get others elected in districts you don't live in. Yep. Marianne Williams talking about some strategy. To all representatives in the body affect your lives for sure. Jazari Kowal's in the house. Is what's going down Friday? Legislator. We're trying to get bodies at the legislation this time and really support senators, support the bills that they're supporting, do a show of support and also go down and make some comments about that support. They need that support because they're in a room full of folks that are usually opposing a lot of the things that they are trying to push. Mm-hmm. We appreciate your work, Kimara. Like Keisha says, of course, Pops in the house is Nebraska, and the only unicameral state legislature in the United States.
Yeah.
So a very special situation going on here that we have to learn extra about when we're trying to learn civically. Hopping topics real quick is 8:07 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, just to remind you, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We got Kimara Snipes and Precious McKesson. Put some respect on their names in the house right now with us. And we're jumping into the next subject right now, which is what's going down here with Bill 1024, who in the names behind these bills, Senator Justin Wayne, Senator Terrell McKitty, put some respect on their names. And we have been in some conversations with them for the past week because people are coming out of the woodwork. Brother Terrell McKinney put a post out just recently that says, we will have a town hall since y'all think I'm a sellout. I'm open to all questions and concerns. Thanks. Now, I've never heard that peaceful brother ever really get wild online and say some things. And it had me very, very concerned. I've had some conversations too, but I want to first of all address, set it up here. What's going on? We've been talking about these ARPA funds. Bill 1024. We've been talking about these ARPA funds. We've gone through this session where an independent group came out and did an evaluation. The evaluation said some people should get some money, some people shouldn't. And kind of all hell breaking loose right now on that. So so basically, and of course, the front-facing people, the people who are helping and behind this bill and trying to communicate things out, are being very, very viciously attacked. They are being held responsible for money that's not even getting doled out yet. They're being held responsible for a lot of different things. And what we're seeing here at First Sky Omaha is a serious lack of communication. There's lack of understanding. There's a lack of communication. There's people that are chiming up that are upset and you can't really explain why. They don't really know the whole story, but they're chiming up. There's all kinds of things going on, meetings. There's people that want things changed. There's stuff that's happening that has us up on the phone day and night for the past week. Kimara, we definitely wanted to hear from you because you had a talk with Brother Terrell McKinney last night. If you cared to share that conversation, I'd love to hear something about it. But I just want to make clear, I think all of us here have Brother Terrell McKinney's back in a big way. We have enough understanding to understand. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, buddy. Step in.
Well, you could have finished your thought. I just wanted to make clear it's not just Justin Wayne and Terrell McKinney. It's also Senator Megan Hunt, also Senator Carol Blood, also Senator Tony Vargas, and Senator Hansen.
That's right. That are behind 1024. McDonald.
But I want to make it clear though. But the bill was introduced by McKinney and Wayne. They on there because they in Omaha and they have stake in Omaha and north to south. But I just want to say that the bill was the brainchild of McKinney and Vargas. I mean McKinney and Wayne.
Couple $1 billion were coming into the state, and these brothers decided we're gonna figure out how to get a big chunk of it over to North Omaha, and then they started that. And of course now some people are whining and crying that they didn't get it. Some people are, there's a lot going on because and still we're still at the stage where nobody's got nothing yet. We're still at that stage.
We're a suggestion.
It's evaluation. It's a suggestion that then there's so many more steps. So we've been trying really hard week after week after week here to try to explain this process. And we're still running into people who are having a really hard time with it. And now they're personally attacking people. They're personally attacking the senators. Please,
sisters, go ahead.
I know because Kimara talked to Terrell and I talked to Terrell via text and I wasn't able to call him last night because I had other calls until like almost 10 o'clock and I didn't want to, know he has to get up early. But I just want to say, have people even read them 80 pages or read them 200 pages? Because some of these folks out here haven't read it because I did. Yeah, reading is very much so fundamental. Now, let's just keep it 100. Some of these projects were not even worthy of receiving funds. Okay. And this is Precious talking. This is Precious McKesson talking as North Omaha Neighborhood Alliance as not from my political. This is Precious talking. I feel like there was a lot of money. There was a lot of money out there. Do we need to go through and die? I mean, do we need to see like what impact is really going to happen? We do. I mean, I'm just again, it's to me, it amazes me. And again, I say this with all respect. It amazes me how for so many years people have blocked the younger generation, and I consider myself a younger generation, from being at the table. They blocked us. They didn't want to give us the tools. They wanted to be gatekeepers. They wanted to, everything. But they ain't did shit. Excuse my language. 24th Street still look the same. What has changed on 24th Street in the last 20-something years? Somebody tell me. Any new buildings that have come up other than North End Teleservices on the south side, on the south end of 24th Street with Cummings and Creighton when they put CHI there? Has anything else popped up on 24th Street? Somebody tell me. We don't even have a dry cleaners. All this work everybody's talking about, and I love with you. There's some older generations who have embraced me, and then there's some who haven't, who have been nothing but gatekeepers. Okay, love me some Brenda Council, because she knows how I feel, and I say it all the time. 24th Street looks the same that it's looked in all these years, and I don't care how many lights you throw up at Christmas time. It still looks the same. It's beautiful. Y'all, we got it's like y'all covering up with a Band-Aid. But the fact is that we don't. You got people who own so much property. We don't even have office space. There's no reason why all that whole block should be lit up with office space or for people to be able to run businesses down there. But again, I'm trying to keep it cute. I haven't talked to Senator McKinney personally. I sent him a text message and told him how I felt and asked him what do we need to do to support him, because again, this man is doing the work.
Okay, well, Kimara Snipes has talked to Terrell McKinney, so you care to share what you can about that conversation?
I will share this. First of all, I reached out to Senator McKinney, not even because of that, because I hadn't seen the post. I reached out to him because I've been checking on him because like a week or so ago, he was upset about some stuff. He's lost some family members. Right. And so when I reached out to him last night, it wasn't even about this. I hadn't seen the post. And so then he talked to me about it. I'm not going to share our conversation, but I will say this. Politics is difficult. Being a legislator is difficult. Mm-hmm. And so I know Terrell needs our support. He needs a space to vent. You know, when I was doing some work this summer and I had to visit with Senator Wayne quite a bit. And I remember him saying to me jokingly, he was like, when this bill is over with, I might have to leave the state. You know, we're being funny with each other, but this is the reason why, because he knew how people would react. And let's just keep it real. You know, North Omaha has been traumatized. North Omaha has been denied. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of people who are righteously looking for some funding. And we knew that everybody would not be able to get it. $3.2 billion in requests. That's a humongous number. But that's because people have been wanting and waiting for so daggone long. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a few things. One, as people who are elected, like, unfortunately, in my opinion, we need to build up a little bit some tough skin. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to get attacked. Hell, I was on the school board getting attacked, not even at the state level, right? Because we're making decisions that affect people. Also, the education of the people. People don't know this process. All they know is they need something. They heard some money coming, and we want some righteously, right?
And let me jump in there real quick because this is important. The money has not come yet. Right. What I think that people are acting like the money came. Some people got it, and we didn't get it, and so this is how we're going to react. But the education about this process is that what we're understanding is there's several steps. There's 3 or 4 steps before any money gets decided upon and doled out. This was just the first evaluation, and the senators that put themselves out there to help after the evaluation even help. So you still figure out how to do what you need to do to get your hands on the rest on some money, and have been vocal about the fact that there's so many more millions of dollars out there to get in different areas as well. I don't want to let the conversation get away from us in the chat real quick. Cheryl Weston in YouTube, she's agreeing with you on this, Kimara. You guys have the same point here. The senator is young, and at first term, he will have to learn to take the support and opposition outcry. It comes with the job.
True.
Definitely. I think this is something a little bit more different, sinister than that, though, to be honest with you. It's not just having to have a tough skin because he's getting backlash. This is people personally. This is people who have reached out to him to get some help, and now they coming back calling him a sellout, calling him, now they mad because they feel like he ain't helping them out. It's the attacks are a little bit different than I see usual attacks on senators right now.
Yeah.
Can I just,
maybe it's because I'm close to the subject. I don't know, but it seems that way to me.
Go ahead, Precious.
So, and I'll just say, I'm not now there. I'll say this after reading some of the. I don't agree with all the recommendations that Olson gave. I'm gonna be honest with you, because there was some organizations that I felt was kind of missed out on some of that money that should have been recommended, especially for the area of work that they're doing. So I just want to put that on the record. I don't agree with everything that is on there, but I do feel that they did what they were supposed to do, and hopefully there's a chance to go back in and revamp some of those.
Let me speak to that, because that's one of the more frustrating things about this. And again, I asked the question, what are we doing? And we need to educate ourselves about this process. And Paul and I keep saying, this is only a suggestion. Mind you, we put in a proposal. We didn't get any funds. We're not mad, because we understand the process and understand that there's other opportunity, and we can go back to the drawing board. And that's what I want to speak on as far as us in the community. Get it together. Check yourself. Because there's people mad that you did. So what? Who do you think you are? Culxr House got money. Celebrate that.
Come on, man.
Why are you hating? What is wrong with y'all? And it's pissing me off because as a community, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot. We're going to cut off our nose to spite our face. And we're going to miss out.
And look, the senators told us, point blank, period, we don't get this money. There's people waiting in the wings to grab that money. There's Republicans that will take that money and go buy lakes and put lakes on the west side and everything else.
Yep.
We're going to mess up and not get nothing.
As a community, we got to do that.
And I'm excited about a pizza shop. I'm excited about this pizza shop. Look here. Like,
24th is a food desert. If you live on 24th, if you know about 24th, a pizza, come on, man. They don't even deliver. You can't even get a pizza to get delivered to 24th Street.
And listen. As a communications person, this process is the most challenging thing I've ever faced in my whole career in communications. This is I don't even know exactly where to start with how to explain what's happening. We are getting emotional and jumping way down the line, way past things, or without understanding. And there's so many things that are happening right now with everybody. They're going to do a town hall because there's that many people coming at them about all these different steps and levels that are happening. There's people that are so far behind on even learning on even knowing what the process is. I don't even think the town hall is going to help. I'm gonna just put it out there. I think they're going to just get attacked more, and it's going to be a big fight. And but I feel for them, because what else can you do but tell people, all right, fine, if you want to know what's up, well, come and ask the questions, and we'll answer the questions. Like I've offered for Sky Omaha as like, hey, listen, help us. We'll help you with this communication. Like, we'll study this stuff and talk to you and try to break it down in the way that we do, that maybe that'll help people understand. We can break it down with the chat chimers, and then and we can put it in steps. It's almost like we need a chart to talk about these things, because it's really like that, because I always see people get hot. Like Buddi's getting hot right now, and he's 4 or 5 steps down the line, about on this process, on the stuff that he's hot about, and we got to, and if anybody's listening that doesn't understand this, we got to draw them back 3 or 4 steps to even understand why he's mad about what he's mad about right now. Like that, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. So I talked to brother Justin Wayne last night too, and he's giving me all the stuff that's about conflict of interest, and stuff that he would talk to his constituents about, and defend his position with other lawyers about. And I understand it, and he gets it. And he's like, I don't understand. I'm being transparent about this. I don't understand why people are tripping, but people are tripping because that you can't explain. You can't use the same rules to explain that thing that you're talking to when you're trying to talk to community. They're not going to jump on that lawyer level and understand that piece. And the word that keeps floating up is nuance. And this thing is so completely nuanced. And if you don't have any ability to grasp nuance, or to spend the time to read everything, or to spend the time to learn everything, how are you ever going to get to the point where you understand anything? And your emotions are going to jump in front of you way before you understand. Your understanding will.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people's emotions jumping in front of them way before their understanding is jumping in front, way before they get what's happening. I was talking to some folks and had to remind them, if we don't get this money, there's people waiting in the wings to grab this money. And
Inside of the community.
And everybody stopped like, oh, we didn't know that. I was like, oh, okay. So again, that's 3 or 4 steps back from what you're mad about. Like, we got to figure, as you can see, I'm doing it now. I'm like all over the place with trying to explain just the communication piece of this. And I don't quite know where to even start. This is the biggest challenge I ever had with the communication piece, period, ever.
Let me try to simplify it. No one got anything.
No one
got anything.
And the senators,
people are mad about people who got money that they didn't get. It's mind-boggling. And the fact that, one, you're getting mad about it, and people like are attacking senators who are trying to help them.
Let me tell a quick story. Then I'm going to jump back. I'm going to ask you guys some questions before we get on. I can tell a quick story about this. It's our story. We have an idea to expand Black media. We are working with Julian Young and Associates right now. Okay, sorry about that. Kimara, you gotta
go ahead.
Okay, so we are have an idea to expand Black media. We are meeting with Julian Young and Associates. We're paying them to help assist us on getting our strategic plan together for this Black media situation. While we're in the middle of doing this, so we don't quite have all the answers yet, this thing comes up and we decide, okay, well, since there's a deadline here, let's just go ahead and figure out how we can just put something in that's just going to state our idea. Maybe this will get the ball rolling. We don't have a complete plan quite yet because we're working on it. So we put a proposal together and we put it in. And we didn't talk to the senators before that. We didn't ask for any advice. We put it in as if we were writing a grant, and we just put it in. So then we waited. Evaluations came out. Evaluation said you should get $0. So the first thing we did was say, okay, why is that? Let's see what that is. I mean, I kind of had in the back of my mind, I'm like, we kind of rushed this in. I don't know what I expected really. So, that's number one. But number two, let's look at it, because they broke down. They have a rubric, like Buddi was saying. We looked at this thing. We read all 30 pages or 80 pages or whatever it was. We went through the whole thing several times to try to get the story. Some of the stories that we pulled out were, I didn't realize that there was these projects happening. We've been doing this show now for 2 years, and we haven't heard nothing about what's going on 16th Street or any proposal. Anybody who wanted to do anything on 16th Street and make that into like an industrial new media kind of district. We didn't hear any of this. So the first thing we did was learn about everybody else's projects. We work with Marcy Yates, and I didn't know about all the stuff that Marcy was going to try to do, like the pizza shop. So the first thing we did was that. The second thing we did was say, okay, well, let's just ask the senators what's up. So we asked them. We brought them on the show. We asked them. They come in. They were like, well, first of all, let's move past this $335 million. There's $1.8 billion out here. Number one. Number two, I read, and this is what brother Wayne told me. I didn't even know you guys were after any funds, because we hadn't come and talked to them first. They didn't even know They didn't even know we had a proposal out there until they read the evaluation. Y'all hear me with this? Like they didn't even know we put anything out, and they've been on our show and heard our spiel. Didn't know that we put a proposal in until they read the evaluation. Same time we read the evaluation. So he says, now that we know, here's some suggestions. There's these other funds we can go for. There's other things we can do. As you can see, what you ought to do is team up with 95.7 The Boss, the Omaha Star, other media, so you can have a bigger kind of Black media conglomerate that you're trying to build, and ask for bigger dollars. So, and we'll help you with that. Here's the plan. Okay, so that's our story. Now, I don't understand why, and they have offered that to many other people who had the same similar story. People are putting more energy in being upset about the situation that they're not fully understanding than listening to what the brothers are saying, and then not really understand the other part of this too is these brothers are working part-time in the legislature. They make $12,000 a year. They have full-time jobs and go to school and everything else. How are they supposed to? They're doing above and beyond breaking down stuff. It's also our responsibility to go read this stuff and learn it. It's not just for them to tell it to us all. It's not their job to just explain every detail. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like they shot themselves in the foot a little bit by explaining as much as they did, showing as much as they did. No, not a lot of other senators do that when it comes to bills. They let us know so much about these things that they gave us room to complain about the process that we don't even fully understand yet. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to stand with the senators on this, because I see them doing their job. I'm understanding some things. I'm learning more every day about what I'm understanding. And number one thing that I'm doing is not coming at them as if they are shady and doing something wrong. I don't like to come at any brothers in the first place with this thought in my mind, what's his angle first? I think he got an angle, and that taints everything else that I learn to read, every other piece of information that comes to me. I'm not go. That's not what we do here. We respect first at First Sky Omaha. It's respect first. Now, if some things come out that are shady, some things come out that get jacked up, the first thing we do is bring them on the show and ask them directly.
We discuss it,
and if it makes sense, what if we're open enough to listen to what the explanation is and it makes sense to us, then we'll go that route. If it doesn't, we will stand up and be like, nah, bro, that don't shake out. That's just how we are. So I encourage everyone who's listening and who has a stake in any of this to come back with it. I know that you're looking at your watch. You got a place to go.
I'm getting messages. That's what I am. I'm in DC right now. I got meetings like all day. Yeah. They already started.
so before I jump into the chat, that first of all, that's the end of what I wanted to explain. That's the best way for me right now to explain what's going on is just to reveal our story here. I want to jump in the chat because there's some very interesting things to say in there. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go what's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes, because I want to go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm actually in Washington, D.C. right now. And that's actually kind of what I want to talk about a little bit. The Nebraska Civic Engagement Table is part of an organization called State Voices, their affiliated network, which is a nonpartisan. I really love this nonpartisan stuff. Infrastructure of just permanent state-based affiliates, Nebraska being one of them. And so right now I'm down here and we are working on some municipal strategy stuff and also workplace culture. I'm really excited to just be doing this and be able to bring this back at the table right now. I don't know if people are aware, but Lincoln has a municipal election this year. So really, we've been working with my organizing team to create an organizing plan for that. And hopefully we can just duplicate this throughout Nebraska, to be very honest with you. But what I'm really excited about is I also reached out to Precious a couple of days ago. It might have been yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't remember. But I remember I was like, oh, South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance and North Omaha Neighborhood Alliance are members of the table. I said, let's get together and talk about applying for some funding so that we can do some neighborhood team development, because we have to get back to really building power in neighborhoods, because when we do that, we become a part of that process, which makes us more aware of what is going on. We're educating ourselves at the same time and empowering ourselves too. So we have to get back to that. I would say anyone who knows Senator McKinney, just reach out to him and show him some love, show him support. And Senator Wayne. Senator Wayne been doing this a bit longer, so he's a little bit tougher around the edge. And I'm not saying Senator McKinney ain't tough, but this is hard work, right? So I just hope that people can be able to do that. And don't forget that the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, we have our first meeting of 2023 on the first Thursday in February, which I believe is the 2nd. We'll be meeting at 6:30 p.m. at the Omaha Kroc Center. For any information whatsoever, be it Twitter, Instagram, whatever, you can follow me at East Omaha Z, and I will be sharing more information about all of that. But I gotta go because I know they're like, where Kimara at?
Thanks for your time today. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Peace. Okay. It is 8:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, Precious, I know that you can't really stay on all day either. So I just want to make sure that you got everything up that you wanted to talk about today, and make sure that you're heard.
Yeah, I mean, we I have a lot of things that a lot of things I'm just keeping to myself right now. I'm trying to keep it cute, keep it classy.
Which we appreciate. We love you for.
Without being, I don't want to, but I feel that we do have, it is a communication thing. I feel that, we definitely need to be better at that. I mean, I'm glad you explained, Paul, about your position and how, first Sky Omaha had applied, in the strategic plan, then come to you and say, because I also have been a part of this conversation about some other people who didn't receive it, and then to come say, hey, well, you know what, this funding is going to come available, and I think the media people will definitely be able to benefit from this in collaboration. So it's kind of like having that talk of how do we work together. My thing is, it's enough money out there for all of us to be able to benefit from. We just got to learn to work together, and we have to stop having the mentality of who's getting this and I'm not getting anything. Some people are going to get something, some people aren't. Some people have a strong strategic plan, and their strategic plan is good on paper, but when you look at it, they're really not doing nothing. But we have to understand that these things happen, But then there's people whose strategic plan may not be as strong, but the work that they're doing is even stronger. So how do we perfect those both to be able to get something out of that? And I think that's what we have to start working on. So the collaboration piece is really something that's big, that I feel is big, because a lot of people don't collaborate because they feel like, who's going to get the shine? Baby, I don't care about the shine. If we can get that money and really be able to benefit our community, that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be who's going to be the shine. Put us in a group, you the spokesperson. This is what happens if this happens. Everybody has a role, and everybody needs to play their role. If you don't play your role, this is where we're going to be at. And trust me, they're sitting back watching, and they're going to say, look at them. They over here arguing. They don't know how to, they can't get no money. And that's why they get in front of this legislature and they sit there and they talk the way they do to us when it comes about racial impact statements and come to things that impact our community, because they say, hey, y'all can't even get along together. So why do y'all care what we have, how we talk to y'all? Y'all don't talk to each other. Right. But anyways, I'm gonna get off that. So my last thing I will say is,
well,
our voices need to be heard. And this Saturday is the 16th annual State of North Omaha and State of African Americans for the Empowerment Network. They do this every year. This year it will be at the TAG building from 8:30 to 1 in person, or you can do a virtual Zoom option. But it will have, I will be speaking. It will be a lot of people, different people in the community speaking. Senator Wayne, McKinney, Rogers, Johnson, Dr. Logan, Chief, the mayor. A lot of people in the community will be speaking. Paul, I'm going to send you this flyer right now, because I don't know if you have it or not, but I'll send it to you. But definitely want to make sure that everybody, join, come and talk. Come and have your voices heard, because again, so many times our voices are not heard, and we're not talking about, or we just don't have all the information. Yeah. See those people and talk to them. And again, make sure, and I know we've never had this much money come into the community, but again, it comes down to the money's there, and we need to make sure that it's being used wisely, because we don't know if they'll ever do this again. The last thing I want to see is 24th Street looking the same when I'm 74 years old, and that's in 30 years.
Yeah. And the sad thing about it is, it's kind of we have to hope and pray it don't.
Man.
Yeah. I just don't, and our kids, and we fought so hard in North Omaha. It's, and I will say this, and many times I want to leave, I just say, no, just stay and keep fighting. But eventually, if we keep up the way we're going to keep up, you're going to start losing your good leaders, because again, the tax is really bad. And I know that it's because we're young, and they say, oh, we have to have tough skin. Yeah, we have to have tough skin, but it takes a lot to put your face on, your name out there, to be fighting for the good fight, and for people to attack you. And I stand with Senator McKinney 100%. Like I say, I knew him before he ran for office. Met Terrell, and Terrell's always been the same person, for the people, about the people, and that's how I ended today.
Yeah. I mean, I went to school with Terrell. That's who he is. He hasn't wavered as long as I know him. And it's not just people attacking him, but the irony of the very people that you're trying to help. The very people that you're trying to help are the same ones personally attacking you, and it's just.
And I know that, I know that all too well. I know that all too well, and that's why I always go back and forth. Like, one minute I'll be like, "Oh, I'm 95% sure I'm going to run for office," and then I'll shrink right back down to 60%. I'm like, "Look here now,
they'll turn on you quick.
You will turn on you quick. Will turn on you quick." And I know Jazari, like. It's good. I see Jazari, I see our young people. I see Beeee. We as my generation come, we have to open the door and be that person. Let the young, because they didn't do that for us. And there's been people who've told us that they didn't do that for us. They didn't want us at the table at times, because they felt we were a threat to them. But then we made our own table, and we started doing our own thing, and we didn't let them tell us what we can and what we can't do. Then they knew they had to bring us in. Right. So we got to be open to this, to our younger generation who are doing this work and who are really trying to make change, because they're tired of the city looking the way it looks.
Mm-hmm. We're all about giving our elders respect, but we also know that sometimes the elders act as gatekeepers, and and just like how Malcolm said, if you want your freedom, you're gonna have to take it. We want this leadership, we're gonna have to take it.
Yeah, and I love
Unfortunately,
my elders. Our elders
yeah,
are walking libraries. We
that's
get
right.
so much
Mhm.
information. We get a background of how things started, and then when we go to other elders and we start spilling the tea, they be like, "How'd you know that? How'd you know that?" And I'll be like, "Look here, I got an elder, and I got an elder to talk to me." You know,
Yeah.
but we do have to. We always respect our elders, and we know they mean good. I mean, they mean good, and they want to see change, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be speaking. You know.
Mhm.
But I just think, we have a tough road ahead of us, and the last thing we want to do is miss out on this money, and this money be out here building on people building these man-made lakes.
Because we can't organize and come together. Come on
Because
now.
as long as Ricky family here, they gonna get some of that money to build that ugly lake they want to build.
Come
Bro,
on, man.
Let's keep it
Cop City.
100.
They're gonna build another Cop City.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So,
Precious. Really appreciate all your insights always. It's always a pleasure when you come, and I always learn so much. So I appreciate you very, very much.
appreciate y'all. And remember, follow that Politicin with P page, the Precious McKesson page. That page is public.
Hey.
And I'll make sure that I continue to put more on that page. I've been really trying to figure out how to get more information out. But since, again, we're that nonpartisan and to try to remain, neutral, I'll use that page a lot. And again, I appreciate all y'all, and y'all take care and be safe. And remember, wash your hands.
There you go.
Appreciate you. Have a good one. Oh my goodness. Precious McKesson, ladies and gentlemen, put some respect on her name. So glad that she's coming on, and I got some insights there. Thank you. Let's take a quick break, man, and we'll come back and continue on some of this conversation. I'm gonna jump into the chat here. There's a lot in the chat going on. Tons and tons in the chat going on, as a matter of fact. So we're definitely gonna get into that and check it out. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Wearing us down today, boy. Wearing us down, boy. I'll tell you what. Stay tuned. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thank you everybody for tuning in today and jumping into the chat and have so many great things to say. We're definitely going to go back into the chat and suss some of these things out. So really appreciate everybody's comments. Man, heavy, feeling real heavy right now. Feeling real heavy.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, I feel like it's too bad that there's so much not collaborating, not getting together, not getting on the same page.
Attacking.
My whole career is about getting on the same page. I don't even have a show. The show that I'm choosing to produce with First Sky Omaha in the morning is one of finding people of like minds and trying to build out the language that we need to do things to get things done together. We don't do a whole bunch of controversial debating on the show and pitting one person against each other for ratings and all that kind of mess that people do. Like, our thing is something different. Our thing is to learn from each other and get on the same page. So when you got a whole life that's about collaboration, and then you're in a situation where you feel like collaboration is hard pressed in Omaha for sure. So And it's all coming out, man. It's just like what happens when any kind of money gets involved. It happens in families all the time too, man. Somebody passes away and the insurance money comes up, and all of a sudden the family who was cooking dinner for each other are battling and fighting.
Gets ugly,
and it's too bad. Jumping into the chat, man, I got to go up a little bit further today. Gwen Easter, I see Gwen Easter in the chat saying the job is definitely not easy and they need to be paid more money. Talking about the senators. I'm going to go back up even further. Jazari Kowal says, I think it's great that there are 2 Black senators representing neighborhoods in Omaha and are trying to make change for a Black community. My friend and I were celebrating the success of the bill and the funding these organizations will get. We were also sad that we don't have Black senators trying to make change for the Black community down here in Lincoln. We obviously understand our circumstances are different, but representation is so important and inspiring. So instead of tearing down these who look like us and trying to make change for us, people need to sit in timeout and figure out while they're really mad. Why are they really mad? Yeah, I can hear that. Wanda Lewis even further says most of the things that I'm speaking on has nothing to do with LB 1024 because it's been going on for years. I just want it noted so that the community will pay attention to these issues. Ty Williams says she was lost. Why is he being called a sellout? Because some didn't get funding? I don't understand. I'm not quite understanding everything myself, to be honest. Ty Williams, yeah, he's kind of being. People are upset that they didn't get funded, but nobody got funded yet. So first we got to address the fact that this is part of the process. It's not even nobody even got any money yet. Nobody got funded or not funded. There were just recommendations, but people are thinking that those recommendations mean they're getting money, and so they're kind of looking at why they getting money, we not getting money type of thing going on. It's unfortunate. I like what Cheryl Weston said here. Also, you cannot get all the credit without some of the blame.
Facts.
Yep. Moving along down the way here. Conversation. Let's see. Cheryl Weston says our community gets jumped on for not saying anything, and now they're getting jumped on because they were speaking out. People are tired. It's not just emotional, and people do understand. I don't know if I agree with you on that, Miss Weston. I don't think that people are understanding. I think the lack of understanding is the problem. Here. There's a big lack of understanding and a big lack of communication, and it's no wonder. I don't blame people for getting upset when they only understand one. If they only understand one portion of what's happening, and it looks like it looks. You can't help your emotions when it comes to that. So I don't know. I think some people do. Some people are seeing what's happening. I'm trying to learn more myself every day, and then when I learn more, I see who else knows what I know, and I see other people that know more than me that I'm trying to learn more from. But I think there's a lack of understanding what's happening here. There's a lack of understanding the nuance. There's also a lack of understanding the process, and there's definitely a lack of communication on those things for a bunch of different reasons.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man. Ariel's 402 says never complain about the work to be done once the work is done, and you may find that there was nothing to complain about. I like that mantra. Wanda Lewis says you have the Documenters program, Flatwater, and others. Doesn't have to be Black media unless that's the goal. So we were talking. This is during the story. I'm telling our story about how we're trying to build Black media. I think it's important that we build Black media. We already partnered with Flatwater, Documenters, all these other organizations, but these are organizations that are also looking to us to report on what's going on in our neighborhoods. They don't have the same kind of access that a Black reporter, for instance, would have, and somebody that lives in the area, and so on and so forth. So we're trying to build out more Black reporting for our areas that understand the narrative and how to tell those stories. And I think it's important. Flatwater is looking for Black press. So is the Reader. So all of our partners that we have built things around also would love to have some Black reporters. To be able to do that, specifically Black reporters, Black media. We started doing because we were tired of the narrative, the master narrative always being spewed every time there was a news story in Omaha World Herald or Channel 7 or whatever. And we're trying to be spokespeople for our neighborhoods, and we'll tell it how it needs to be told instead of how you interpret it is kind of our motto.
Need to tell our own stories.
Flatwater, the Reader, they've all done a great job, but they've done a great. I think that part of the reason why they're doing the job they are is because we're involved. We're sitting at the table like this needs to happen, that needs to happen. Say it this way,
Right. And we're getting that from you.
That's right, and we're getting that from you. We're getting that from us from talking to our constituents here on the show. But that still does not speak for Black press. Omaha Star, 95.7 The Boss. These are Black owned, Black press, Black
that need resources.
resources, and all those resources, all those people need more resources to expand and build, because it's important for us to have Black press out here for real. Moving along, Marianne Williams says you'll have to ask the senators, but I believe they may be taking additional requests in round 2. The money is being dispersed in 2 rounds, not all at once. There's like four different steps here, 4 different steps that have to happen, and ultimately, the governor has to sign off on these things. That's what's killing me is we're mad at you. Wait, if you mad now, wait till Ricketts doesn't give you some money. I mean, Ill and Pillin doesn't give you some money. We not even understanding the process yet. Wanda Lewis says just hold everyone accountable for the funds they receive, and if it actually benefits the community or just their organization, is it self-serving? That's a good question, and I think these things are in place so that it doesn't just benefit individual things, that individuals, this situation as a whole. I think that's what that is.
That's the whole point of
process are here for.
That's the whole point of calling for people to come together. If you read the proposals that did get money are in tandem with other proposals. Again, it's kind of impossible to be self-serving because you had to be with somebody else to get the proposal. Like there's a lot of things,
right,
that just are being missed.
Let's see. Vicky Young says there's more. Good morning, Vicky Young. She says there's more in support of Senator McKinney than against him.
Hopefully.
I think he's feeling the pain right now, because basically from the one statement that he made last week, people been hitting him up for stuff this whole time. The people that have been hitting him up are the people now that are got some stuff to, that are calling him out. So that to me is not just, like I said before, it's not just the pressure that a senator gets for his vote. This is like personal attacks. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how it is. You can call no other Black man a sellout on some, you know what I'm saying? Like what's he doing to sell out? Like what's Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, doing to sell out? I would like to know what that is. Tell me what it is. I'm listening. I'm not asking sarcastically. Right. I'm like, tell me what's he doing? What's going on?
And to speak to that, Sister Cheryl Weston in the chat a little further up actually finished her comment about people understanding. She says people do understand that it appears the same people keep getting the money and the area is still the same poverty buildings, boarded up, etc., which I do agree with. But the issue that I'm having is, again, nobody got any money. This is just a suggestion from Olson that, again, is separate from Terrell McKinney. Even if Senators Wayne and McKinney did propose the bill, even if they are the front-facing ones, they didn't draft this proposal. Olson did. So now what we should be doing as a community is saying, hey, Olson proposed that these same people who always get the money, get the money. So what can we do to come together as a community to change that, rather than fighting and calling each other out before any money is ever doled out? We have our opportunity to come together and change that. And rather than doing that, we're spending it fighting.
I'm not even sure if it needs to be changed. Why did Olson decide that some of the people who usually get the money should get the money this time? What was their reasoning behind it? I would like to learn that first before I say anything needs to be changed. I'd like to learn that first. I'd like to know.
But you have to have a conversation and come together and get on the same page to do that. And rather than doing that, we are tearing each other apart.
Gwen Easter in the chat says, I personally support Senator McKinney because I have known him for many years. I know he cares about our community and has stood up when I asked. Even when he didn't vote the way I hoped he would on a bill, he still listened and heard me out. I appreciate that. I like if need me to come to support him, something I agree with will be there for the sake of the community. Appreciate that. If you're saying that you would come and support him and support that. I think that speaks to what the cat does, because I feel like they both will hear you out. I've never been in a situation where I had this much contact with any senators hearing me out on something, or fighting for what we're trying to do, or listening to our ideas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's what they're supposed to do, but how much have you been? How much has that been a factor in anybody's life? Anybody else sit around with senators and have them listen to your ideas about what it is you want to do and how much millions of dollars you need? I don't know. William King in the house. We got 95.7 The Boss. William King, we king and we king. He says, build the lake. I don't know if he's for real about that, or you being sarcastic or what, but that's what's up. Appreciate you coming on today. And definitely check out the interview that the senators did on his show as well. Pretty sure you can go back to the Facebook page and check out the show from last Friday. They were on our show Friday morning. They were on William King's show Friday afternoon. Between them two shows, between two sessions, I learned a lot about what it is that's going on with what they got going on. So that's what's up. Ariel's 402 says, I'm 50 years old. I know 50-year-old lessons. I don't know 60-year-old lessons. Right. Precious is talking. Oh, okay. They talking back and forth. That's what's up. Wanda Lewis says, most of the funds went to those who are already in collaboration from back in the day. We noticed when we read the report, we realized that a lot of the people that won the recommendation were people who had projects that were aligned with that
Forever
North program. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can see some of that. And of course there are also organizations that are stand at the ready and are exist in order to figure out how to take funds and put them in the community. I'm thinking about people like OEDC. I'm thinking about people like development companies that have plans all the time to be building new buildings and building new housing and so on and so forth. And they were standing at the ready to be able to try to get some of those funds to do that. They didn't even get recommended for all the funds they were asking for. That's the point too. Like that's a whole nother point. Like if you are OEDC and I can't remember the numbers, but say you ask for 40 million and they recommend you get 20 million. Now we got to go back and do a whole assessment on, can you do what you wanted to do for 40 for 20? I mean, there's so many steps here to even get to the point of like figuring out who's going to get what. The recommendations say a certain thing, but that doesn't mean that's guaranteed money. That's guaranteed coming to them. Josh Tate said Miss McKesson and Miss Snipes are the sheroes Omaha needs, but doesn't necessarily deserve. I'm going to do better in my civic responsibilities because they show us every day why that's important.
There you
Agreed.
Go. There you go.
Marianne Williams says this seems like a lot of money, but it's not. It has to be used on things that create long-term benefits and or good paying jobs.
There you go.
Ms. Erica Felt says some of the loudest have a history of not wanting to network or converse to grow with others, only speaking if they're getting immediate money from the conversation. I'm running into some of that for sure.
Can't disagree fully.
There you go. Marianne Williams says black media would have long-term impact. Appreciate that.
Agreed.
Yep. William King says 95.7 The Boss was open all year 2020. That's right. During the pandemic, the Boss was employing people, reporting stuff out. The Boss is necessary. Black media is necessary. The Charles Drew Center, necessary. These are things that were open, taking care of people, especially during pandemic times and everything else. Agreed. New Najiel in the house. He says, for those questioning the outcome, this is a teachable moment. Very much so, bro. This is a lesson. This is if I got a communications degree, then I'm looking at a master's after I figure this communication out.
Quite the case study.
Quite the case. That woman says if they conversed outside of their immediate circle, they may have better understanding and may have even gotten some funds by working with others. That's what we learned. We learned that. Yep, I see you. William King in the chat says this is the nature of politics. No permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent issues. Wow. Wanda Lewis says it won't stop at LB 1024. They will most likely request additional assistance by the use of TIF. I mean, we've been talking about TIF all year. They get the money and still got to get some more money, right? Anyway, so thank you for everybody who's jumped in. Precious says, I love the fact that we have First Sky and 95.7 The Boss. I want to see y'all funded big time. Yeah, man. We've been talking about, first of all, 95.7 The Boss is a partner of ours. We've been working with MCAS since Mind and Soul days. And I'd love for us to even collaborate even more, plan something out, and grow Black media even bigger, and both get some money for sure. Absolutely. Gwyneth said, I'll be happy for those who receive the funds if it is going to benefit the community. And that's, I'll leave that one there, that part. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here to do. Benefiting the community for sure. Lots of good ideas out there and lots of good comments. So appreciate everybody. We're already at the 9:00 hour, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Here's this meeting that Precious was talking about that's coming up, the 16th annual State of North Omaha and State of African Americans Transformational Opportunities, Saturday, June 28th. As you can see, many speakers there. I've gone to some of these in the past, and I think it's important. I think it's important that we show up, just like the legislature, just like what we're talking about doing on Friday. Showing up to the legislature, we should show up here too, because this is a lot of power in the room that you can speak directly to. So definitely check it out. That's Saturday, January the 28th. That's 2 days from now. Saturday, 8:30 to 1 in person. Let's go in person, man. Let's go in person as much as we can, and make our physical presence known there on some things. So definitely check that out. We'll put more things in the chat. Of course, don't forget on Friday we will have the brothers Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne back on the air. We definitely want to hear from them at this point. They're going through a lot right now, and we want to hear from their mouth what's really happening. We can't wait to talk to them. We'll also talk to Brother Sherman Wells, because we want to find out what's going on that front as well. BAA has spoken up again about having his back on some things that just happened with Bryant Center. So we want to hear that story and find out what's going on. As you can see, we're going to continue on making the headlines be what's important in our neighborhoods. And that's what we're going to continue to do here at First Sky Omaha. So those are the issues that are affecting our communities right now. We need to talk about it. So appreciate everybody who has done that. Really appreciate that. What's Mr. Con? She says, why show up? Everything is still the same. Yeah. Well,
that's why. That's why.
Hopefully we'll see.
I feel that's why, but I definitely understand. But that kind of brings me to my last word. Teamwork makes the dream work, man. And if we don't do it together, then we're not going to get anything done. And we're going to continue spinning our wheels, continue running in circles, continue cutting off our nose despite our face, man. And we're going to look up, 25, 30 years, and we are going to be in the same place, because it starts within. You got to look at yourself. Let's work together and figure out how we can work together to get this done.
Yeah. With that, thank you very much for everybody who's joined us today. Pop says, what a show. Thank you, First Sky Rocks. Love you guys, and see you on Friday. Appreciate you, Pops.
Thank you.
Yep. That woman says, very informative show on air and in the comments. Thank you, everyone, for again inspiring my thoughts. Drink water, stay moisturized, check your health, even when you feel good. Be good to yourselves. I heard that. Ariel's 402 says, I feel blessed to be in this company. Appreciate you, bro. I feel blessed to have you on and be a part of this family for real. The mayor. Stacey Jean says, yes, I want to know about what's going on at Bryant Center. Me too. Marianne Williams says, don't forget the legislature is in session as we speak. The senators are working long days on the 800 plus bills they have to address now too. And sometimes they're in there by themselves with a whole room full of people that are saying, nah, they're already battling those folks. And now they got to battle the hood on top of that. Wanda Lewis says, let's not suppress the bedbug issue at Evans Tower. Nope.
Thank you.
Not. We were supposed to have Brianna Full on today, so we got some lack of communication there, but we'll have her on as soon as possible. She could talk about what went down with the organization, the action move that just happened. So we'll talk to her on that very soon and keep up with the news on that for sure. Appreciate that. Mama God said, yes, sir, the best. Great show. Appreciate you, Mama God. She says, love you guys. I appreciate the information you provide. Thank you so much. I appreciate the information y'all provide. That's why.
Right. As Stephen A always says, I'm not an expert. I know because y'all know. Y'all constantly informing me, and I only know because we have the likes of Precious and McKesson and Kimara Snipes and the senators on, and we speak to the experts in the community as a community. We all inform each other. So we provide a platform though. So thank you for that. But the information is ours.
That's right. Thank you to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I appreciate our elders for allowing us to speak before them. I also appreciate our elders that listen to us too. I appreciate that very much. So the ones that listen, I really appreciate that. And I want to give thanks to our peers, our chat chimers, our co-hosts for allowing us to speak with you guys as well and share information. Really appreciate that. Thanks for just giving us the benefit of the doubt and dealing with our shortcomings as well. We don't know everything, and we're trying to work it out. But I think we do it in the spirit of respect and love. That's the best way to get it done. So that's where we're at. So thank you very much for that. Also, thank you for everybody who is a reoccurring sponsor of the channel as well. Your monthly donations really help, and that's how we keep this thing going. And especially in times when powers that be sometimes doesn't necessarily money doesn't flow to places that are questioning things all the time. Feel very lucky to have some senators on our side that understand the value of Black media and wants to help that situation out. And you got somebody we got people to go talk to about that kind of help, because it's a battle. It's a battle for all journalism, especially Black journalism. So I appreciate every little bit we get, every little taste we get. I appreciate it. So thank you. Josh takes his great show. The thoughtfulness and passion came out of everyone this morning. So agree with you. And Marianne Williams says, thanks again for providing this space to speak out and learn. First Sky, have a great day. You guys have a great day too. Take care of yourselves. We will see you on Friday when we will be talking to Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their name for the legislative report. Until then, take it easy. Gather all the information you can so we can share it together on Friday. And we'll see you then. Peace.
By the way, Vanguard